What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up?
What's up,
going
Chaos?
on?
What's up, Chaos?
Hey, what's up? What's
What's going on? What's on your mind, brother?
I probably had to hit you up later. It's very important. Can't tell you on the air.
Are you here? Are you going to talk about the video?
Yeah. The only thing I could tell you this. What you see is what you get from Princella. Deidre, nothing more, nothing less. As you know, she has a background in marketing and some other things, so obviously she knows how to sell very well. Trust me. When she tries to sell for the men now for the last few years, it hasn't really fared out. And mind you, as a woman, you go much further if you sell to men. You get me? But she can't really accomplish that. So she takes the real route, which really take the attention and focus on the women. And obviously, when you do that, you're gonna make some money. Cause think about this. This is the most attention she ever gotten in the last year. I mean, last year she was catching up and taking some energy and picking up. But as this year moves on, she started really catapult more because her focus is this: go to men with bigger platforms, and they will push my agenda more. So what that tells you when you said earlier that there's no agenda pushing when you work with women. It's evident. You're not getting up from other women, and she's a woman herself, a stud, but a woman nonetheless. So how her rise really grew is when she really goes around towards the men, particularly black men. Because when you hear her talking about men, right? She's not talking about all groups of men. If anybody pay attention to her content, especially, does she talk about European men in general? Does she talk about every man in every broadcast? No, she really focused mostly because we're black women. I mean, black women especially. So her attention is more on that because they're the more majority audience. And if she got other audience outside her content, it's only a small percentage because they're not reiterating what she's doing because they know they can't move and do that same bull crap over there with their men. It don't fly like that. You get me? So the best thing, you're safe talking and focusing your attention to niggas. This is where black people stand. And much time black people don't want to hear this. You cannot go outside this community. I don't care what content you have. Either you say I'm dealing with everybody. No, they see a black ass. They know who you are. They put you in a box. Say you go over here. You with the niggas over here. That's why you don't see much content creator, millions and millions with subs like that. The ones you do see is a fraction of percentage. And they box everybody in certain areas. It's actually racist if you think about it. So if you think you want to hear your content that I'm focused on men in general, no, what men are you talking about? Because you're not focused on every man, Mexican, Asian, etc. The women that's on your platform, they don't want to hear about these other groups of men. They're investing time really trying to divest, get on knees in hope of the possibility of a relationship to a marriage with other groups of men. Unfortunately. So that they when they hear your message, they don't want to go. They will say, I want you here to talk about these fucking niggas. Look at the niggas they talk about, Deidre. The ones that she talk about are the ones that are the small percentage, as much as I want to say, but that's what I'm hearing because we look at how she's getting swingled. Number one, I would ask, where you get 40 grand at age 20? What you been doing to amass that amount of money? Are you on these streets? I mean, people don't ask these real deep questions. Do you get me, right. Deidre? I'm not losing you.
Right. So let me go to Dante Adams. What's up, Dante?
What up?
What's up, brother?
Now, a while back, I was on one of your shows when you was talking about the divestors, and right. on that show, I explained to you why they come at their talking points the way they do. I told you they talk from trauma. Majority of them women are traumatized, just like Cynthia G, just like Princella. They speaking when they speak from trauma. So that's because that's why a lot of these women like Priscilla and divestors Dylan or whatever, they don't care about women because they ain't not healed themselves. You can't get nobody helpful advice and when you not helping your own self, when you can't help your own self. Now, do that kind of make sense? I hope.
Yeah, she needs help. She needs a lot of help.
Yeah.
She's severely messed up. There's a lot of things she needs to work on. That's facts. What's up, Miss Queen?
Oh, you gonna skip me, derail? But go ahead, Queen.
I'm sorry about that, man.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let the lady first. No, I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, because I'm gonna derail the conversation.
Okay. No, you good. You good, honey. But listen, my take on this derail is that, you know, I was thinking the same way as everybody else was thinking the other day, you know, until I had a deep conversation with somebody, and it was like, this woman got some trauma, but it ain't our fault. See, she insert herself in these situations known to fail her, and it's, you know, it is hardened her so bad to where you can just see the masculinity, you know, just in her spirit, man. I mean, if she could kill you, she would kill you just by the way she looked and the way she talked. She's too hyped. She couldn't even hold down a decent conversation when her and that other idiot, Charleston White, was on the panel. You know, when they covered her on Sister George and Concrete Rose, you know, the breakdown over there. But I just say this, man, you know, these gender wars, these fights back and forth ain't progressing, you know, nobody in any space. And she do sound like some of the niggas in the Manosphere. And I'm talking about the ones that complain.
She really does.
She does, man. I mean, the real seriously hurt, traumatized dude. See, but the thing is, she talking about what happened to her, but the niggas in the Manosphere ain't talking about what the true reason why they're trauma bonding the way they are, you know, because of the things that happened to them. You know what I'm saying? But they not really, they're using every, you know, we hear the same old shit. You know, she dissed me when I was in high school. She didn't, she snubbed me at the prom, or, you know, and I understand the child support situation, you know, but you also still have to not put yourself in those situations, you know. Once you become a grown man, regardless to you not having a father, you know. And then you got some dudes that do have fathers. The father was in the home, but he wasn't really present, you know, like as in being able to talk to the sons about certain things, even the daughters, you know. So, you know, it's all fucked up. You know, they got this thing where they say, okay, well, the father, he grew up without his father. He grew up only being raised by the mother. Okay, there are some good mothers out there, and I understand that, but somebody in your family who are men you should be able to lean on them and talk to them. Let me tell you, when my father and my mom divorced, I was able to go to my uncles who were very strong men and talk to them, you know, but my father was still in my life.
Right.
But yeah, so you know, we all these different talking points, man, and then you got this woman that just come out of nowhere with all this bullshit. You know, it's just crazy. But hurt people, and you know, go ahead, Sunkiss.
The Manosphere deserves Princella, and we should praise her.
Okay, are you trolling?
No, I'm serious.
Really? Really?
I'm serious.
Really? Really?
Yeah, we should praise her.
They do
Because hell yeah, I'm here for it. I don't listen to Princella. I remember when Princella first started out, I always thought she was a little off. And I get it. It's women that need to hear what she's saying. And should they decide that they gonna listen to her message and continue to heal, they'll be fine. But for the ones that's gonna be,
how you gonna heal somebody and you not healed?
see, this is the thing though. There are women. Okay, now she blamed it on being naive, and it is a little bit of naivete as well. But it's women out here that really don't believe that men can be dangerous, and they be getting in situations that be having them messed up. Because look, you better understand that all of these dudes ain't out here for your good, right?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I understand that part of her message. Now, for the girls that go through that and they come to the realization through what she's saying, like, oh, okay, okay, I got this, but I don't want to go that extreme. Then you know they'll go ahead and go somewhere else. However, with the foolishness that I have heard in the Manosphere, and now she done blew up to these exuberant numbers she got, I'm like, yes. Yeah, there is a balance. This is called karma. That's what you niggas get. And yes, you get what you deserve.
Sunkiss, she got it from male spaces. She didn't get that from women's spaces.
She couldn't get it in women's spaces. Princella presents like a man. Ain't no women just finna sit there and listen to no
But that's
woman
what
that
she
sound like
does
she.
do. But that's why her platform is for women.
Her platform is for women, but you got to get the women's attention first. Ain't no women finna sit up here and listen to.
In men's spaces.
Yes, that's strategy. She had to figure out how she was
Okay.
gonna navigate.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here's the deal. Look, this is the deal. A woman show up with her dick in her hand, the men gonna automatically engage with her. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the competition thing. I don't know. They gonna engage with her. That's gonna get her attention with the men, but that's gonna also the women gonna go where the men are. So the women are going to see her doing battle with these men, and they're going to go follow her platform. So she had to figure out a way to get to the women because ain't no women finna sit up there and just listen to Princella sound like a whole nigga. Ain't no woman finna sit up there and listen to her.
Hold on, she don't sound like a whole nigga whether she went to men or women. If you present a certain way, you're gonna present a certain way regardless.
But the niggas is gonna have a conversation with her. Princella can't say, "Hey, all you bitches, come around here. Let me tell you something." Ain't no women finna come over there for that.
Now. That's what she doing.
No. She's talking to the men. She's talking to the men who is giving her audience and drawing the women in that way.
Okay, so she basically hustling, like I always said.
Yes.
She hustling.
Yeah, she's the answer to the manosphere, and I'm here for it. I ain't gonna send nobody over there, but I'm
so
here for the
Sunkiss, do you think?
Yes.
I want to ask Sunkiss a question. Sunkiss, do you think? So, I know you saying I know you kind of rock with some of her talking points, but one of her talking points is she said that man is incomparable and is incapable of love. Now, do you agree with that talking point?
No, hell no. That's crazy.
But sex is a chore, so I mean,
right?
That's one of the.
Yeah, it's a chore.
Look. I'm gonna tell you like this. There are some men. The only thing they will ever know me as, for lack of a better term, is a bitch, and I'm okay with that because you, sir, is dangerous, and for me to present anything less than that to you is to put myself in danger. So for those type of men, the shit that she's saying that applies to them.
She's speaking in general. She's speaking in general.
Well,
She said the men are incapable of love.
But I'm not insane, so I understand that not all men is gonna fit into that category. But I do know that it's not advantageous for me to be walking around. I'm safe in the world because all men are gonna protect. Bullshit, no, it's not. Not all humans are not gonna protect me. Now hers is slated toward men because of whatever trauma she got going on, and I mean, until she decides she want to go seek therapy, that's what she gonna do.
Let me say this. Let's not.
Hold on. Wait up, guys. I gotta let everybody else speak.
Okay.
Let me go to Samba Queen and then Amiri. Then I'll go back to you, Dante. Hey, Samba Queen.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm
good. To answer the question about can men truly love, of course they can. I think the problem is, and I know this is not going to be popular, too many women, they want a masculine and feminine role. They don't understand that, listen, there are far more of us than there are of you. Therefore, you have your choice to pick from. We don't. So when we come to the table, we can't look for a six-figure nigga with a long dick, loving, caring, wants to sit next to me and hear all my bullshit all day long, all night long, coddle me, heal me from past traumas. That's not what the man is meant to do. If you're coming to the table looking for all that, what are you offering? That's all I have to say.
No, wait. I got to ask you a question because you're saying, what are you offering? So what's the discussion on that? Because I don't hear, because it seems to me in these spaces when they ask the question, what are you offering? A lot of women get upset and get offensive with that.
Yeah, but the thing is, we can't ask for a man to offer all these things. What are we offering? Are you coming in here with a high school diploma or GED, a job at Walmart, and you're 250 pounds? And then you're looking for Idris Elba? It doesn't work like that. You can't be a nickel looking for a dime.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay. I hear you. What's up, Amiri?
What's up? What's going on, D. Durrell?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, man. Look, this whole thing, like I was just about to say, I don't even think we shouldn't even slander trauma by assigning the stupid shit that this woman is saying to trauma. It's just more stupid, silly nigga shit that we flock to and that we pay attention to. Several of, like, for example, this idea that men don't know how to love and men are incapable of love. All of this coming from a woman who's sitting there emulating and imitating a man. It's the irony writes itself. And for her sitting there talking about how dangerous men are, while she herself is in a social arrangement and advocating for a social arrangement that we know has the highest domestic intimate partner violence rate. The highest race that where we see intimate partner violence and domestic violence is with same-sex couples. Black, female, lesbian same-sex couples to be exact. But you're sitting there talking about it. Yeah, but you're sitting there talking about how dangerous men are. But see, no, she just ain't ran across the right one yet. See, because you got to realize it's easy to go and sound like you really putting something down when you just talking to a bunch of idiots who don't know what the hell they talking about anyway. But I give her ass that work. You know what I'm saying? She just ain't ran across the right one yet. It's just the same old playbook. You know what I'm saying? Look, the fact is that the reason why many black women are having the run-ins that they're having with men, a lot of it has to do with their own internalized misandry. A lot of these women they're misandrous and they're jingoists and they're female chauvinists. They're no better than the men that they want to excoriate and eviscerate and lambaste. Like talking about, I heard her when you was doing your review, D. I heard her talking about patriarchy. She don't know what the hell patriarchy is. They don't know. People that they just repeating shit. Patriarchy don't even really have a definition. But if you really was to ask, okay, well, define what patriarchy is for me, she ain't gonna. They just talking. You know what I mean? Because it's misandry. They don't even really know what they act like. What feminists do is they present patriarchy as if it's a social arrangement of, for, and by the benefit of men, when it's not. It's a social arrangement, a social order and organization that's of, for, and by the benefit of the few, men and women. It's only a small percentage of men and women who benefit from patriarchy as a social system, because patriarchy is all about social stratification. When she was sitting there talking about survival of the fittest, number one, she's sitting here trying to talk about survival of the fittest as some type of evolutionary schema or something. But if you really understand where survival of the fittest come from, that's a 20th century term, white supremacist term at that. That was created by a capitalist. It doesn't even have anything to do with evolution. They meant it totally within the framework of social Darwinism to justify why some people were rich and some people were poor, ignoring the way that the society structured wealth and privilege to only benefit a certain portion of that society's populace. That's where that whole term came from. So just off of her, what she was saying about survival of the fittest, the male has to survive. Well, look, the woman has to survive too. If you want to talk about evolution and, you know, the man has to be capable and all this hoopla she was saying, okay, but the same thing applies for a woman, because this is the thing. Generally speaking, there's a feminine form that men find the most appealing and the most attractive. And so if you're a woman who falls outside of the scope of that, guess what? You're going to have a hard time getting done for you, boo-boo. You're going to have a hard time finding a man who's going to even want to provide stability, safety, structure, these things that makes your life on this planet more hospitable. So it goes both ways. Survival of the fittest just don't apply to men. She's saying it like it just apply to the men, and women just get a free ride because they got a vagina. But let's be clear, all vaginas ain't created equal.
Facts.
Some vaginas are more desirable than others. So what the hell are you talking about?
Facts.
But that's
You know
how
what
she
I'm saying?
got
Just
in with the
saying dumb
men.
shit, man.
That's how she got in with the men. She put on the aesthetic. See, y'all see the hair and the makeup. She didn't used to look like that.
Man, I don't care what. Okay, I guess.
Man, shit, I don't even want to talk.
It's
I don't even want
content
to talk about.
strategy.
Let me say this though. Hey, D. Durrell, you're a fool for that thumbnail, man. You're a fool for that. You're a fool for that thumbnail.
She's been working on this almost 20 years. And I remember she used to have the baseball caps on, the sweatsuits, the t-shirts and stuff like that. Then she leveled up. She started cooking in the kitchen, presenting the meals that she was cooked, plated up nicely and things like that. And now y'all got her with the blazer on, with the titties out and the long weave and the bum makeup.
Game. It's called
She game to get the men in because the men are gonna look at her and find her aesthetically pleasing, and then she gonna talk that shit that's gonna draw them women in.
So my thing is this.
Wait, Darrell, I just want to say something real quick about what Amiri said about attractiveness. When my husband asked me why I decided to marry him, I said, because you're stable, you are honest, you're hardworking. I said, well, what made you decide to marry me? He said, and I quote, because you was a light-skinned cutie with a big fat booty and you could cook chicken cutlets. Did you hear me?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what he said.
I don't know how you take that, but I mean, I know a lot of women would have issues with that, but okay. I mean, I get it. If that he was being honest, he was being honest.
Great. And then I looked at him and I said, are you serious? Because I was a light-skinned cutie with a big fat booty and I could cook chicken cutlets. He said, baby, I knew you'd be a good mama. I knew you could clean. I knew you could cook. I knew you had a brain in your head. That's why I married you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. It's really just that. It's really just that.
And the big fat booty.
We're very simple for what we look for. We don't look for 100 different things. We look at about 5 to 6, 7 maybe key things, and that's it. We're not looking for this super out of this world type person. We're very simple, but what we want is what we want.
That's the damn truth. What that man wants is what he wants. And I can talk about how, some women will say the man is the head and the woman is the neck, and the neck controls the head. But then I say this, without the brain, the neck wouldn't know to move.
Right.
Okay.
Well, according to her, the male, if a phone is the woman is the brain and the man is the cord. that is our position in life. That's what she taught.
Hey, D real like
we're nothing but physical power.
Can you hear me?
Things up. That's it. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. The conversation got so heated, man. My damn iPhone said had the temperature thing on it, so I had to switch phones. But anyway, man, I mean, everybody have their different perspective of this situation. One of the brothers up here talking about her speaking to every man, and I believe that she's a
you boring.
You clicking out?
You know what I'm saying? Now somebody
can y'all hear him? Because I'm having difficulty hearing him.
You Borgin, Nino.
You Borgin, brother.
You gotta say it over for us again, Nino.
Okay. Can you hear me,
brother?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One of the brothers up here stated that she was speaking to every man, and I do believe that. But I also believe that a specific type man has done something to her, but that doesn't mean that every man has done something to her. But I think that she got super hardened, from her traumas, and every time she, have these kind of conversations with men, it's a problem. She really need to go talk to somebody.
Yeah, she needs therapy.
Yeah, and then she put herself in.
I knew that within 5 minutes of listening to him. She is trauma bonding. She has not healed I think there's some other things going on with her outside of that, or in conjunction with her traumas that have not been diagnosed, and she should not be teaching anybody anything until she heals. Because all she's going to teach is pain, or she's going to teach women to be in conflict with other men, and that what's going to happen is all these women who are paying for her services, because she's making good money off those books, and she also has those workshops. I know somebody that actually went to one of her workshops, and they paying good money to go to those workshops.
She's a true meaning of a feminist. I mean, everybody running around here talking about feminists, but she is a feminist, a serious one. I'm talking about one of them black ones from back in the 70s.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, like, just in modern time, just all Western women are just going to be feminists. They're going to be feminists in their orientation. It's because it's the way they're socialized. It's there is a heavy misandric lean to the social narrative that dominates the dynamic between the genders. You see what I'm saying? See, the problem is when in the wake of, because I even heard D. Durrell mention that about first wave and second wave feminism, and I agree with him. That's when I speak about feminism from a place where I'm giving it some support, it's coming from that first wave and second wave. But what happened, men didn't adequately push back against a lot of the narratives, the one-sided narratives that feminists were given. So we never really checked the veracity of the statements and the narratives that feminists were putting forward. You see what I'm saying? And so now it's become so ingrained in the society and the culture that we just take these things at face value. And so now I tell my sons this: if you want to know if a woman is going to be good for you as a mate, if she has this position where she wants to try and use her relationship with you to litigate the history of these perceived injustices of men, get rid of her ass fast. You see what I'm saying? That's good. That should be an automatic disqualifier.
Thanks, because I'm gonna tell you, you can't. Yeah. I can't pay for what somebody else has done to you. If you got problems, you come in with something new. The purpose for you being with somebody new is to be happy, not to talk about what some other nigga done to you.
But then and see, that's exactly what I'm talking about, bro. Because a lot of times these are one-sided narratives. So when you even hear her talking, I listened to some of that breakdown. So when she's talking about some guy beat out 40,000, some dude in the Nation of Islam or whatever was doing all, that's her narrative. But we don't. It's always two sides to a story. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of times when women are given their side of the story, the man isn't around or isn't even engaged enough to kind of push back and say, well, hold on, wait a minute. It wasn't like this. It was more like that, to kind of give his side to bring some balance. And so because that has been the predominant theme in American society since the feminist movement, especially in Black society, now we have this just one-sided, skewed perception of men. I mean, to really sit up here and suggest that men are somehow incapable of love, that's a highly dangerous sentiment to be peddled out here in the society. If a man was to say that, hold on. If a man was to say something, to say, well, like the Andrew Tate, for example. So if Andrew Tate says, well, a woman is fundamentally incapable of running a Fortune 500 company, everybody and their mama would view that as sexist. They would view it as misogynistic, and they would push back against it. But because of what I'm talking about, you have these women who are misandric, and they can come in and they can make these assertions about men, fundamentally questioning the character of men, as if men are somehow incapable of love. That's how you dehumanize men. And this is why a lot of sisters find themselves being confronted with the Black manosphere. It's a chicken and the egg type of thing.
Right. Exactly. I'm here for it.
Can I cut in for a moment?
Yeah, go ahead, Samba Queen.
Virtuous Woman TV made the comment that I was chosen for my utilization, right? We both choose each other for our utilization. A man has a different use than a woman does. But yet those two uses unite, and that's what makes us one. That's why the Bible says, and the two shall become one flesh. It's because we utilize each other's souls. We complete one another. Adam and Eve were first. When Adam was created, and then God created Eve, Adam looked at her and he said, wow, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I shall call her woman, because she came out of man. So let's stop all this.
You have a pleasant voice. I haven't heard a voice like yours in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I want to know, is we outraged at Princella, or do we get to enjoy this nonsense? Because I'm right now entertained.
It's just more. It's like I said. It's more nigga shit. Like this is what we do. I said this today on Facebook. I said the reason why I don't assign a lot of value to a lot of these black male podcasts, it's not because they don't say things that have grains of truth in it. It's because we don't want to have the real conversation of what we need to be talking about, which is our economics.
Facts.
You see, like if your economics isn't right, then nothing else is going to be right. But we want to ignore that, and we want to talk about what we think we deserve or what we think we're entitled to. But it just doesn't work like that, you know. And so I think when you look at like this whole Princella Clark thing, this is just another episode in a long history of us majoring in the minor and minoring in the majors. Like Tariq says, we beg for what we want, and we beg for what we need, and we pay for what we want. So we'll pay attention to this silly shit that she's talking about. But look, it's in a long line of this type of rhetoric coming from individuals who are the antithesis of the rhetoric they claim they embody, from Kevin Samuels to a Princella Clark. But if I'm like this, D. Durrell, if you want to follow that, you go right ahead, because the course is set. The course is set. You know what I'm saying? If anybody want to get in real estate and invest in, I would suggest investing in group homes for the elderly and residential assisted living facilities, because a lot of these individuals, both the men and the women, gonna be dying alone, and the kids ain't gonna be stunning.
Say it again. Say it again. They gonna die alone. Yeah, that's why I'm here for it. Let them eat cake. All of them.
And for assisted living homes and throughout the country, because I mean, there's a people don't account for how families are overwhelmed with dealing with taking care of their loved ones, or whether they have physical disabilities, mental, or etc. So that's a reality. That's a reality. Like in the next 20, 30 years, I mean, that's going to be something that's going to be talked about as far as financing that and the social services that's connected to benefits for those type of programs for housing for the elderly and so on. So, hey, it is what it is. I mean, listen, I believe you're responsible for your own decisions.
Let me make a comment, D. Durrell. I'll just say this. Too often we have this long list of things that we cannot match, and that's both men and women. You know, we think that we are entitled, but mainly, you know, we see this in women. That's not uncommon. You know, the problem is nobody has told us the truth about certain things. Sometimes you got to, have somebody else outside of yourself, or see outside of yourself, to see all of these things, you know.
But that's not true. People be saying it all the time. Folks don't want to have a conversation. You can tell by, look, Princella got, 650,000 subscribers for what? Why? That's nonsense. For what? What she got that you need to listen to?
Well, I'm talking about things that resonate beyond social media, as far as the normal aggregate of the issues in the Black community as it relates to relationships. Because we're the least of our groups, we're the least married.
But look who we put up. We don't put up functional people. We don't put up function. We put up the most dysfunctional nonsense. That's who we pay attention to. That's who we give our money to. Just like what Amiri said. That's why I ain't taking this seriously. If you crazy enough to sit over there and believe what that woman is saying, That's where you deserve to be at. You need to stay over there. And all the same people that know better, you know, to stay away from them type of folks. That's how I feel about it. Like the Manosphere, finna get the hell on. They
Right.
crazy. I
Yeah.
ain't finna keep going
They
because
did.
I'm not insane. And I feel like she is the answer to that nonsense. And all of them just need to, you know, let them fight each other to the death or
You
to
know,
the
here lately,
loneliness.
a lot of things have come to surface. I mean, even the passport bros, you know, even Austin Holloman is waking up to certain things. But you know, it's to be expected from a dude his age because he's 23. You know, and he's still learning. But you know, when you got men that are 50 and they following that passport bro, you know, thing, you know, that's an issue as well because they're not looking. You know, we done had these talks over here,
They're
G.
still not married.
Yeah, you know, or at least have not been married. You know, I'm not married. You know, I've been married. You know, had my problems, had my issues. You know, but at the same time, you know, I'm not blaming people for that, nor am I trying to just go to a different country to show, you know, that I can get a woman. Or you know, this is what I got. Look, black woman. You know, but even Austin saying, you know, I'm disassociating myself with the passport
Passport
bro.
brother. Yeah, he has.
I mean, what I don't like about it is this, like, you know, the media is influential. It's very influential. And, you know, it can lead people astray, especially the vulnerable. What I mean about the vulnerable, I mean the people that's broken already. You know what I mean? That's the manosphere and the rest of these sisterhoods that have a big influence on women and men. But especially, you know, that's it could be detrimental because there's a lot of broken people out here in this world than you think it is, man.
Oh, I know. I see him every day.
Yeah, everybody ain't strong, you know. And I think that, and I know that Coach Greg Adams, he often say black men don't need therapy. That's a lie because everybody ain't strong. And if they don't think like him, of course, you know, he's gonna pass judgment on them as well, you know. But you know,
Well,
we
what I'm gonna say is this: there is a slow, steady increase in black men being open to therapy as opposed to 15, 20, 25 years ago, where it was very slim to none. But there is a steady influx of black men who do seek therapy, whether it's for themselves, for their family, for their own mental health issues. It's not a huge growth, but there is. I think we're slowly getting away from that.
But let me ask you a
Absolutely.
question:
Absolutely.
Right.
as a therapist yourself, do you think more men would seek therapy if they had somebody just like them that they can talk to? Because look at what happened with the therapist that you covered, the female therapist. They no longer
Yeah,
trust.
that was an anomaly. Most black female therapists would never say anything like that. And I know because I've trained at least 50 to 75 black female therapists in my career as a supervisor, and they would never do anything like that. What we found was someone who had some issues, and she went on social media irresponsibly, not thinking about you don't talk negative about your own clients, and that's what she did. You don't that to me was very unprofessional. And
She she per-
huh?
she violated HIPAA and
Now she
freedom
didn't
of
violate
information.
HIPAA. She didn't violate HIPAA because she didn't say any personal medical
Oh, okay.
information. What she did was for a company that is um, that 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 caters to black men. At the time, she was in a facility that basically provided services to men for the most part, whether they were out of jail or whatever. It was mainly geared towards men. She spoke ill of the men who sought her services. So, what man would want to seek services from a therapist who views them in from that perspective? So that was a big time, and that's why she got let go because what she did was not. I wouldn't. It was in the gray areas. I would say it's unethical. It was unprofessional.
Hmm.
That was the
Yeah.
issue. She was very unprofessional. And I'm gonna say this, and I know a lot of, and then I got questions because people think, well, and there are black men, there are also black women who think that okay, if I'm gonna go to a therapist, I'm going to go to a black woman. If I'm a woman, if I'm a black man, then I'm just gonna have to go to it. That's not the case. to me, you should be worried about the skill
Or you're
level
Borgin, Peter, you're Borgin.
and the
Is it just me or is Diderot Borgin?
No, he was going in and out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm going. You can hear me now?
Yeah, you sound better
Can
now.
you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
clear
I'm
now.
sorry.
Now you're clear.
What's up? What's up, Wacky?
What's going on, Diderot? What's going on, everyone on
Chilling,
the panel?
man, chilling.
Yeah. But but what I have to say is, I guess I'll just be making the same point that a few people in the panel made, that as far as the person that you're talking about in the panel, she's just selling another grift. That's all it is. Like the many people on social media, they're just selling another grift. And the unfortunate thing on Black YouTube or Black social media in general is that grifting is the most popular thing in the Black sector of social media, because so-called Black people, we just love to hear grifting. We love to hear dysfunction. It's probably it's like one of the most entertaining things that so-called Black people like to watch on social media. And then they could be part of the grifting where they could share their pain, and you got people staying in pain. She's nothing but the reverse version of the current Black manosphere. Because when you look at how a lot of, even though I'm a member of the so-called Black manosphere myself, but I have to admit, when you look at the Black manosphere within the past, I'll say 5, 6 to 7 years, what they displayed is no different than what this female is displaying right now. She's using their tactics.
She actually is.
Yeah. And then it seems like very few people see that. She's using their tactics and she's benefiting big time. And not only that, not only is she using the tactics of the current Black manosphere, but she's benefiting from using these tactics more than a large portion of the current Black manosphere. When you see her popularity, and the current Black manosphere and Black social media in general is giving her more popularity due to the dysfunction that she's portraying. So it's like giving her that attention, she's benefiting from it. Right. So
now,
like
what I can say to that, Wacky, she is marketing herself a lot better. Yeah. She is marketing herself great. She's done a great job of marketing herself too. Yeah. Like she's done. I got to give props where props is due. She definitely has marketed herself, to a level that she can, be at this level so quickly and on multiple platforms.
Yeah. And that is true. That is a good point. Right. But the more attention she gets, the more she benefits. But may I tell you too, me and her, we used to speak on the phone before she was popular on YouTube. So really? We used to be cool, because we was friends on Facebook back in like 2016, 2017. Okay. And my post on Facebook had some level of popularity at that time, right? So she wanted to speak. She wanted my phone number so we could speak over the phone. So we spoke over the phone. We became cool for a little while. But the thing is, the more I spoke to her, the more she started saying things that we hear now. And I used to shut down those talking points, to the point of the fact that she got tired of me shutting down her talking points. So in 2019, me and her just agreed not to speak to each other anymore, which really? I told her, I said, I'm not losing anything. So if that's what you want, that's cool.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, Wacky, because you're saying a lot. That's a lot of what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
So what you're saying, you heard the genesis, like, because she's been on Facebook for a long time before she even came to YouTube. Yeah. And I understand that. But I'm speaking of her rise to where she's at now. To me, I feel like on YouTube, her popularity really, really took off fast from my perspective. Yeah. I mean, others that I guess follow her closely may think otherwise. But when you had these disagreements with her, because what I'm seeing is that the minute somebody disagrees with her, she gets upset and angry, like, you got to listen to me. Like, she literally says, listen to me. You're not listening to me. You're not like, if you ask a question that is in opposition of what she says, she automatically thinks you have to agree and you have to listen to her. If there's no, we can just agree to disagree, no meeting in between, maybe I can compromise. There's none of that with that. I mean, kind of walk me through the texture of that conversation when you disagree. Like, what was her emotional response?
Yeah, okay, yeah, because this happened like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, so I can't give you like the exact details, but in general, when I would disagree, like, Diderot, you know how I go, you know how I operate. Like, I would
Right.
question certain things. If
Right.
something doesn't make any sense, so I would ask a very logical question. I'm like, okay, if that's your logic, then what about this? Then how does this make sense? So I would just ask her questions. And when she was not able to answer these questions, she had a habit of making these ad hominem attacks towards me to try to make it seem as if there's something wrong with me for questioning the things that she would say. And she would get upset. And she would get upset, especially on Facebook, where I would respond to some of her posts that didn't make any sense. So I would respond with just very simple but logical questions that she was not able to answer. Then she would get all pissed off, and then once again would try to make it seem as if there was something wrong with me with these ad hominem attacks. So when she would throw these ad hominem attacks, I just left it alone. I'm like, okay, you're upset over a disagreement. All right, cool, whatever. But I would, like I said before, I would question her and some of her statements so many times, and she was not able to give a proper response. So she got so frustrated that in 2019 we just decided not to contact each other anymore, and I was all right with that. So hey, whatever. Yeah.
Is she no different from these manosphere, brother? She's just a reflection of the manosphere. She deals with absolute ad hominem attacks, and she get defensive, and the manosphere the same way. That's why I stopped going on some of these dudes' panels, because it's just the same. It's the same thing. They overtalk you. They get defensive. They use ad hominem attacks, and they deal with nothing but absolute.
Yeah. And there's no
It
nuance.
has to basically be in sync, to everybody agreeing. I used to roll on a panel where everybody didn't have the same viewpoint. And that's what get the conversation started. It's more for me of why you think the way you think versus, oh man, you're wrong, or why can't we just agree together.
Let's see. Anybody else? Any comments? Chaos, Dante, Samba Queen.
Yeah. So Diderot, before I leave, because I do have to leave, but
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, what Samba Queen said like about 20 minutes ago about what her husband told her as far as his reasons for marrying her had me on the floor dying.
He was being real. Samba Queen just flat out told you what it was.
Dang.
Which she probably already knew anyway.
Right.
The fact of hearing him say.
Right. But all right, guys. So it was great speaking with y'all. I do have to go. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to approach a question, and if anybody care to tackle it, a statement per se. Virtuous Woman TV, and shout out to her. She stated men need to stop calling women upset when they are being abusive. When they're being abusive, upset is a fleeting emotion. Abuse is a problem. So what do y'all think about that?
Well, let's look into that. If you have gone through serious abuse, usually when you've been touched and you get to a certain point in life, you have to take the necessary work. And this applies to not only the women, but also the men too, because men do get it too. You're going to have to do some shadow work. You're going to have to deal with the therapy. You're going to have to do what's necessary to get healed one way or the other. Because what happens once you go for that and you do not resolve it, it's going to lead you to damnation. You're going to have the constant dreams, the unusual outbreaks, mentally, spiritually, because that episode will never lift it out of you. So you must do what's necessary to find ways to slowly resolve it. It will not be healed completely, but you could find ways to wholly get to really deal with your traumas properly. That is our responsibility as adults when we get to a certain age, and we know now. With the technology we have now and the people that do the therapy either online or in person, we have to do the work. Because what's gonna, like I said before, if you don't, you're gonna pass this down to your future offsprings and anything else spiritually move forward in your life.
Can you put that question back up so that I
Okay.
could really assess it?
Yeah, sure. And I just wanted to add, I want us to understand that it is okay to be angry. It's a natural human emotion, and it also can be a logical response based on something that occurred to you, such as abuse. Like nobody gets abused and say they're happy about it. So it's okay to be upset. The problem is that how you channel it and how you can cope, the ways in which you can cope with that anger or whatever other emotions that, whether you're depressed or anxiety levels that are attributed to based on that abuse. It's how you cope with it and how you function with it. And there are positive ways that you can learn as far as positive coping mechanisms in order to channel and express yourself. And there are many times when people come to me with similar situations, they are angry. They should, and I want a person to express in a therapeutic manner the anger and what they experience. So it's not necessarily running away or fleeting. It's the fact that this happened to me. This is how I feel. I want a person to express how they feel if that's their true response to that situation. So the issue with Princella is that she is using her trauma to convert people to think and act and react to things and perceive things a certain way for her own benefit. That's the issue that I have. And also, she assumes that every woman should think and feel the way I do. And to me, that is cult-like behavior.
And it doesn't show growth.
That's my perspective. But go ahead,
Yeah,
brother.
and it doesn't show growth. But I'm reading the question, and I think what she feels, of course, feels like most men dismiss the traumas and the pains that women go through. Now, I personally don't, but I wouldn't put myself in a situation with a woman like that. I want her to go get help first.
Right.
Same as she probably want the same for a man that she get involved with, because these are familiar patterns that
Right.
nobody can solve but you yourself and a professional. And I like what you said. You want a person to come to you, man, because
No,
trust
I
me.
don't want them to. I don't want them to be mad. What I want them to do is to express the emotion that they have. And if anger is the emotion, I want them to be able to express it in a positive therapeutic manner. So
Yeah, and
if
I get that, but I
yeah,
get that, but what I was saying was, even in that, you could show where your therapy is working if if you could show the progress. Because I tell you, some people have really gotten that help, man, and they look back and say, "Damn, I was really mad for nothing," or I can see that I've come a long way. You know?
well, I'm not dismissing that if she's angry, she's angry. If she's upset or whatever issues that she's dealing with, she does have a right to feel that way, whatever way she is the problem is, once that is identified, how do we move forward in correcting that and healing from it and not dwelling in it? And
That
so
part.
Well,
I'm gonna let Virtuous Woman TV speak. Miss Samba Queen,
Okay.
if you want to indulge in this question, you can. Okay, go ahead, Virtuous Woman.
So far as this question right here, men
Yes.
need to stop calling women upset because they're being abusive. Upset is a fleeting emotion. Abuse is a pattern. And I'm just wondering, is she speaking of the men in those relationships or men in general?
Virtuous woman, are you speaking of the men online or in those relationships?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm at work. I had to walk and find a quiet space. The comment is not a question, and it's not about men at all. It's saying, like with Wacky, he's in a conversation with Princella, and she's saying, no, you got to listen to me. You're going to listen to what I say. And he's like trying to get his part out. And she's saying, no, 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 no. And so he's saying, oh, she's upset. And I'm saying, men need to stop saying that women are upset when they're actually being abusive.
How was he being abusive?
She was to him.
She was being abusive to him?
Yes,
Oh, she on
because
his side.
no, it's not about a side. I'm just saying that a lot of men are just, listen, see, the thing is, like, women
I'm a
have
bit confused, but go ahead.
okay.
Virtuous woman, are you saying men need to stop calling women upset when the women are being abusive?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So what
Okay.
I'm
Right.
saying is that I'm saying that because see, men can be physically abusive, but women can be emotionally abusive, which can cause men to act out in physically abusive ways. But
Yeah, but men
men,
and women can be physically abusive.
okay, fair enough, fair enough. I'm not playing semantics, right? But what I'm saying is that because men objectify women's emotions, oh, she's just upset, oh, she's just this, they're not able to recognize and pinpoint patterns of abuse in an abusive woman. And that's how you guys end up in these long, drawn out relationships with toxic women. And you're always saying, oh, it's just upset. And it's like, no, this person is trying to control you. No, this person is being narcissistically abusive. And you don't see that for what it is because you're steadily calling it upset. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like upset doesn't, it's like be angry, but sin not. Upset doesn't give you the right to oppress somebody or
Right.
hammer something down on their head or force them
Okay.
to feel how you feel and think how you think. No, because you're upset in one moment and you won't be upset in the next moment, but you'll do a bunch of damage in the interim. And so
Right.
I feel like men are missing that and in that way women are not being held accountable for being
Mm-hmm.
abusive, and then it's perpetuated, and then you have an abused man going out into the world with all his anger and his repressed rage, and then he becomes violent and the cycle continues.
Right.
Thank
Now,
you for
see, that's what I
covering
was
that.
talking about. Well, that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the feminine, because of the feminist tends to society and the narrative that governs gender relations in the society. It's exactly to virtuous woman's point. What we act as if, from a societal perspective, we act as if there is no consequentiality to the abuse of women. So we treat women's abuse, we just chalk it up to, well, she's just being emotional. And so, for example, right, one of the tropes that exists within our society is this idea of a woman giving a man the silent treatment, air quotations, silent treatment. But that is very much a form of abuse. It's a form of emotional abuse. You see what I'm saying? But we
Absolutely,
treat it, yeah,
absolutely.
right. We treat it as if it's inconsequential when it's not. You see what I'm
And
saying?
then
So,
and then
yeah.
to the flip side, it's very passive aggressive, right? Because I myself am guilty of that. And I think just as society, as women are not, socially, it's not socially acceptable for women to express physical rage. And so we do have a bunch of emotional defenses that we use in place of physical rage, but that have
Okay.
the same effect. And so
Mhm.
it's like, so if I'm using the silent treatment to control you or scare you or withhold love from you, that's no different than you slapping me in terms.
Ah,
What
damn.
happened?
She
She
was
fell off.
She dropped off.
damn.
That was real
Come back.
good,
You
man.
were just giving a good point.
Yeah, you know what, man?
I want to add to that real quick. I want to add
Yeah,
to
go
that
ahead.
real
Go ahead.
quick.
Yes, ma'am.
It's strange. It's always been strange to me how a woman can say she was emotionally abused and she'll get a lot of sympathy, but you never really hear men say I was emotionally abused, do you?
No, you don't, because men don't want to admit to. Well, most men don't feel comfortable admitting that they've been abused by a woman or anyone per se.
Man,
Can
that
y'all
is
hear
so
I
me?
mean,
true.
that's just the reality. Most men are not
Right.
comfortable with admitting that because to a lot of men, that's a sign of weakness or perceived
It,
weakness.
yeah, men are
But you
going to get
guys are,
judged.
but you guys are, but you guys are, the problem is that you guys are acting it out. You know what I mean? So I have just through my awareness have seen that a lot of the men that women are upset at are men who are acting out of being in an emotionally abusive, toxic situations with their mother, with their girlfriends, where they had to concede and repress their emotions. You know what I mean? And so they're acting out in ways that are unfamiliar to the woman. And because we do control with emotional abuse and scare tactics of withholding love and affection and things that they need from us, it's just going around and around and around. But the woman is never called out for her role in the perpetuation of the cycle. But we're
Can I
always
can I
trying to
say
be
this real quick?
glorified for
No,
being the goddess and the mother and the creator, but we don't want to take responsibility for creating the
Now,
toxic male.
Yeah.
no,
So I'm gonna get.
we're enabled to
I'm,
do that by the media, quite frankly, because
now
that's
let
called
me.
female empowerment. That's why.
I just had a thought right quick. Now tell me y'all if this qualifies as abuse. Is this something that women do? What about revenge cheating? That's a form of abuse too, ain't it?
Well, cheating is a form of abuse. Cheating is a
That's
Period.
not
form of
the
emotional abuse,
I
period.
I understand that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is I'm talking about revenge cheating as its own thing. Okay, you claim that you're going to work with the person, you're going to forgive the person for their indiscretion, and this is something women predominantly do. And then what they really know is that what they really going to do is they're really going to keep that in their back pocket for when the
Right.
time comes. They're going to get it on with a dude, and they're going to do it from a point and a place of getting I got my lick back. Is
Yes,
that is that or
yes,
is it not a form? That's a form of abuse.
it is. It
Well,
is,
I
and
would
it's done.
I
It's
I
done.
would say for one, I want to clarify two things.
Mm.
For one, I would say it's a form of retaliation, but for two, I would say that women never forgive cheating. And the reason why this is because cheating is the undoing of what a woman has developed herself to be. And so what happens is you try to forgive and you try to contend with it, but eventually you become a person that a shell of yourself and you don't like who you become. And so through that resentment towards him changing the pure
Mm.
essence of who you are through his indiscretion, you try to passively aggressively take that back out of him. So it's a return and exchange of energy. So I need to transfer this emotion that you put on me back onto you because you were the offender. And so how am I going to do that? In any number of ways. If I got to
Mm.
tear it out your ass by cheating, or I might just give you the silent treatment, I might withhold sex, I might do a whole bunch of things. I might
But
not
now let me
cook,
ask
I
you a
might not
question.
clean, whatever I want. Go ahead,
Right
baby.
now this is what I want to ask you, right? And this is going to be controversial. uh, how do we actually quantify a man what's cheating? Because cheating in and of itself, right, aside from the connotation that we're using it, cheating means something very very specific. So it's like so say you was doing a financial transaction with somebody and they didn't give you back all of your change. Technically, they
Right.
cheated you out of something. So this is what I want to say. So if a man is able to give you everything that he's been giving you, everything that you've become accustomed to, emotionally, spiritually, financially, in terms of being your lover, your friend, your confidant, and then maybe on the side here and there, he has a sexual liaison with something else that he got going on that he's able to compartmentalize and keep separate. Has that man really cheated you? You didn't. He didn't take anything from you and give it to anybody else. You got what you always been getting. Is that cheating?
Well, for me, Amiri, I'm going to be straight with you.
Mm-hmm.
Cheating is a violation of anything outside of our psychological, verbal, or implied agreement with each other. So if I'm coloring in between the lines that we set and you color out the lines in any type of way, you're cheating the game because you're not giving me the advantage of playing with the same tools as you. So you're being a cheater from a integral perspective. It's not necessarily about quote unquote sex. Now, on the contrary, you could cheat simply by gaslighting me. You could cheat by, when I
Mhm.
call you out on a behavior, telling me that it isn't what it really is. That is also cheating. So cheating is playing outside of the rules of the game and intentionally disadvantaging your partner and being equitable towards what you deserve,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
if you feel like you have the right to have some ass on the side, then you should give me the right to feel the same way. And if you cheat me out of that,
That,
you
that
are
ain't
a
that ain't gonna
cheater.
happen.
That ain't that
No,
ain't
no,
gonna
Hold
work.
on, hold on,
no, no,
real
no.
quick, cause I
Hold
did.
on.
Let's.
Hold on,
Okay,
hold
go
on,
ahead.
because I gotta go in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
You're absolutely right, virtuous woman, because that happened to me. My husband, he decided to do his thing on the side. I found out. I was very upset. I said I forgave him. I could not forgive that nigga for nothing. I held on to it passive
Mhm.
aggressively forever. And then we got to a point where it was just, we can't
Well,
do this.
you know how we passively aggressively hold on to it. I'm gonna tell you
Yes,
guys right now. What we
yes,
do is we go post move and we make it so that you can
yes.
never satisfy
You'll
us.
never satisfy it.
So when you solve one problem, we'll come up with another and another and
Yes,
keep you on that proverbial
yes,
wheel of
forever.
heightening. But really, what it is we don't fuck with you, and
We
so we
don't
keep on raising the bar to make it impossible for you to ever please us because
accept,
you will never do that again because you
never.
robbed us of pure love. That's
Yes,
Well,
you
can I
it,
should.
and
let me
that's
ask you a
all.
No,
question
no,
though?
no. Wait. You robbed us
Okay.
of the Cinderella story. You see, we grew up with Snow White, with Cinderella, with Ariel. You robbed us of that because you promised that you'd be true. That's what you promised. It's not about dick and pussy. It's about a promise we made to each other, and you broke
Hmm.
that trust. And I can't get that back now because the purity of that is gone.
Hmm.
So you know
The
what happened?
innocence is
What
lost.
exactly?
Okay,
So what
ladies,
happened? Wait, hold on. So
after y'all, let me get in.
what happened was he determined, I want you to be free and I can be free. Don't ask, don't tell. And our marriage hasn't never been better. Go ahead.
Okay, now what I want to
Man,
say about that is, coming from I understand Amiri to a certain degree of certain things. You know, coming from being a man that's part Nigerian, I know the background of Nigerian men who want like two, three, four wives. And the thing is, I know that we're not in this situation right now on the panel, uh, but when you get into those kind of situations, you got to know what you're getting into. Not saying that you asked to be cheated on or any of that, but that's what normally happens when you're marrying a man who's used to having two, three, four different women.
Well, I mean, I could understand that, but I think that throughout a relationship or a marriage, just in being human beings, you're going to develop interest in other people, may have a crush on someone here or there, but that's where your loyalty and your responsibility and your agreements come in place because you agreed to subliminate your nature and your urges in order to be an equal participant in this union. Now, it's not to say that you may not like somebody or want to commune with somebody, but I mean, you just got to be open and say, but you have to be open to accepting it either way. And the problem is that you guys want to keep your options and eliminate a woman's, and then that's where it
Not the
kind of gets
same
a
though.
little funky. I
It's because
mean, I mean,
it's
I
not the
agree it's
same.
not the same because a woman has a womb, and
Mhm.
she's carrying, her womb. So I agree from that perspective. But in terms of what it does psychologically to a woman, it's up to you if you want to pay the cost. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
But
So
it's
that's
like this to
that's
me.
what I was about to say though.
Hold up, man,
Okay,
Mary, hold up.
go ahead.
Okay, it's like this with me. A man, I say this. I've been saying this for years. A man do not have to lie to a woman. A man should tell a woman and say that, and, tell a woman, hey, this is how I roll. This is how I am. Either you can roll with it or you don't. Before a man gets serious with a woman, before he even take it to that next level with a woman, he should let a woman. He should bring it to her attention that, hey, I'm not a one woman man. I'm more of a polygamous man, and either you can just Either you with it or you're not. But
Right,
see,
but you don't tell her, you ask her. You ask her if
yeah,
she wants to
ask her, yeah,
participate.
okay, yeah, ask her.
Right.
But
But so putting
it's
a
all
woman
about
on notice, you're going to get resistance. But if you, like, if a man were to come to me and ask me to participate in his plan or his program, whatever that may be, then I can consider everything altogether. But you coming at me telling me this is who I am, no, you're going to get X'd out before you even finish a sentence. So you guys need to work on your approach. Like, no, you don't tell somebody, you ask somebody.
okay. All right, go on, Amir.
No, I was just gonna say that's what I was gonna talk about. I was gonna talk about disclosure. Does the man's disclosure change change anything in terms of the context of if it's cheating or not? So if I come and I say, look, this is what I'm interested in doing. These are my intentions, and I understand if you want to gracefully bow out the situation, but your decision as my woman to gracefully bow out the situation isn't going to change me from pursuing my intentions. Does that change it? And then the other part of it too is there are some men who are just they're so great that they're one woman isn't enough. You have men like that. And it's been that way since time
I
and
think women feel that
memorial.
way. I
Why
think
I'm
women
bringing
feel
this
that way
up
too.
because you're
You
right. So then
breaking up.
why is the I'm breaking up?
Yeah, you
Am
kind
I
of
You
still
breaking up
breaking
a
up?
you
little bit.
just can't. You coming back, but yeah, you was breaking up a
Oh,
lot.
okay. Yeah, I don't know what
Are
that
you on the
is.
road,
Probably the
Amir?
stream yard.
I
No,
can
I'm
hear
at
you
home.
now.
I'm at home. Okay, yeah, I'm at home. But um, I forgot what I was gonna say. What was I saying? I forgot.
I
I
think you
forgot
were
what I
gonna
was
talk. I
saying.
think you were expounding on when I was saying that like women don't want to do it all by themselves either.
You was talking about
Right. Like, yeah,
man
what I was
man
gonna say
being
was,
up straight. Yeah, you was talking about a man being straight with a woman, like, he's not a woman man or whatever.
but it's not even that because I wouldn't even.
He breaking up real bad.
All right, he'll come
Dang,
back.
brother, you breaking up again. He out now,
If,
so
if it's Mike, yeah, man. Like I said, if a woman wants more than one man, I mean, we're hoping that they're upfront as well. But you know how we are as people.
Yeah, but
Some of us.
I think also a lot of men they just don't finish the way they start. You know, like when men are pair bonding or in their mating ritual, as a woman, you get a lot of FaceTime, you get a lot of 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour conversations, and over time, that's just not going to be the normal rhythm of the relationship. But the problem is that when men are meeting a woman and trying to court her, they're expending all of this extra energy that they don't
Hold
have
on.
intentions on maintaining over the long haul. And so
but is
that's
that
the first,
realistic?
it's not realistic, but it is the first lie. It is the first way that you guys set
Why you ain't telling me you
a
got a
So,
ticket?
so,
distrust.
so, so you're saying, are you saying that men are
Yeah, why you ain't
pretending
telling
to
me?
like women that just in the hopes of getting sex, and once that's achieved, they kind of taper off and don't give as much
I don't
attention?
even think it's a sexual thing. I think that if a woman just bides her time with a man long enough, then she will learn what his natural rhythm is. So a lot of men are loners, a lot of men like to think, a lot of men like space, but in the first few months of a relationship, they're on you like a shirt. They don't have they're not going to be able to maintain that energy. And they know that, but they still give it because they like the girl and she's new and she's shiny and she's bright, but eventually they're going to shelf her and go off to be men again. And so it's setting up a false expectation in the woman, and that's puts the initial lie in motion, which is that I'm going to be able to give you all of this energy and attention on a consistent basis, when in fact he's not. You know what I mean?
Now,
Nah,
are you
no,
speaking general
but
or are you
I
just
get what
speaking?
you're saying, but I don't know if that's representative of all relationships. I do think that it is.
I don't think it's representative of all relationships, but I think almost every woman can tell you that initially you fall in love or in liking with a man because of the amount of time that you guys are spending together, and which makes you feel like he's emotionally present and available. And if you just bide your time a little bit, you will find out that they're not. They're just courting you.
Yeah, got to be. You know,
don't you want to be courted?
Whoa, it kind of sound like Priscilla
Hold on,
talking
hold on,
points
hold on,
here.
wait, hold on. But don't women want to be courted?
I feel like women may want to be courted, but it's not about what we want. It's about you being a man and saying that this is the standard over the long haul and what I can sustain, and allowing me to choose. When you
Yeah,
court
but from
me
a man's
outside of your
perspective, we are going to look at what you want.
right, but when you court me outside of your natural rhythm, then that's almost like that's cheating. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not true. You're not gonna give me that. You know what I mean?
now,
So just go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I wanted to ask you this. Can we speak on the compartmentalization of men that women do? Like, so like
Yes.
when you're talking about the courting thing, right, and the guy spending time and stuff like that, but women put men in categories the same way men put women in categories. So you might feel like this guy is good for a long-term relationship, but this guy right here, the jawline dude, I just want him to blow my back out. I just met him tonight. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of to what I think that's kind of to what um D. Darrell was just saying, right? You know what I mean? Like, how does that factor into all this? And I'm gonna say this too. This is why you see like a lot of these red pill men say things like what they say, beta bucks and alpha fucks and beta bucks or something like that, because you're putting certain standards on the guy, these suitors that you have based on the category you have them in. And so the guy that you apply the least amount of standards to is the guy that you just want to blow your back out. And he can just come over with a fifth of Hennessy and a blunt, and there's no got to spend no time or nothing, and he already getting the goods. Where this guy over
Well,
here,
okay.
you want to make him go through all kind of hoops, and he got to spend time, and he
Well,
got to serenade you like Usher. You know what I'm saying?
well,
So
let me
what's
tell
up
you
with that?
this. I'll tell you this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be honest with you. Now,
Mm-hmm.
for one, it's based on attraction. So they have that axiom that says a woman knows within the first 5 minutes if she wants to sleep with you or not. That's actually
Mm-hmm.
incorrect. A woman knows within the first 5 minutes if she's not going to sleep with you. But
That's true.
Xing out the
I
people
see
who
what you did there.
Xing out the people who I'm not going to sleep with, there's
Mm-hmm.
another pool of men who I'm going to be very wildly attracted to, or who I might need a little bit more convincing from. So I might want to have sex with this jawline guy because of my physical inclination towards him. But the other guy, maybe he makes me laugh. Maybe he makes me comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we're just hanging out one night on a Friday and I feel so good, and I just feel liberal that day.
Feeling
But
frisky.
it requires more effort on his part because I only
Mm-hmm.
have a mid-grade attraction and sometimes maybe even no physical attraction. But his
Right.
personality might get me. He might slip and fall
Mm-hmm.
on simplicity. That's how
Yeah.
that goes. So
Right.
it's that's just what it is.
Okay. All right. I mean, fair
So,
enough.
so then
See,
my
that's that
question,
game. That's that red pill game.
but this is my question. This is my issue. My issue is that why would you, if you know a guy just physical alone and nothing else, uh, brings about any level of compatibility, why would you compromise yourself with a person just on physicality alone and no other qualities?
Because women enjoy sex and society is teaching you guys that women don't.
No,
Mm.
I don't. I ain't. I never heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
never.
I think
I
that
ain't
I
never
think
heard a
that
woman don't
no,
enjoy sex.
No, I mean,
well,
no. What she's saying is true because,
it
I
is.
mean, listen
No,
at what.
no, wait,
Yeah,
hold
because.
on, hold on. Wait. Slow down. Let's
Okay.
slow down. I want to know where are they telling women
Yeah.
outside of the Victorian time, the Victoria era, and things of that sort that you should not be enjoying sex.
Okay,
All
I'll
I
ask you.
see is sex.
I'll ask you. No, I'll ask you this: if
No.
you,
Let's
if
gotta
if
answer
it
with
was
a question. Not
if it was popularly known that women enjoy it just as much as men, do you think men would submit themselves to the process as much as they do, knowing
now.
that we wanted to?
But I'm gonna say now. Let me say this because I remember y'all. I remember this was like in the '90s. And I remember it was this mass epiphany of by men that, wait a minute, these women want to do it just as much as we do. It was like I remember that era. It was a light bulb went off. You know what I mean? But I think
When you're a young teenager, it's a lot of the girls who are more sexually provocative and aggressive towards the men. Men be scared.
Well,
Y'all be
okay, so
scared.
where
I certainly had
this
a lot of
teaching?
them, taking advantage of me.
I mean,
Where was this teaching? So where was this teaching about women should not enjoy sex? Where was this teaching at?
well, it's not necessarily a teaching. It's the socialization. Even the
Right.
process of the men having to pursue the woman for it and her not being able to pursue him for it. That in and of itself implies that she doesn't want it as much as him. It's behavior.
Don't women teach other women that?
I mean, I think
Yeah,
other women incorrectly teach themselves to that their virtue is in between their legs and to hold it over a man like a steak for, I think that's incorrect, but I don't think
Now let me
it
say this
goes
though.
beyond
Now
that.
because there is I think this is where you get this nuance, right? Because for men and women, we can want it just as much as each other, but the difference is it's easier for a man to find pleasure in the act than a woman, because for a woman it can be hit or miss. Like a woman, she can go to get with a guy and then he got a preschool too. So now you done kind of struck out with. Meanwhile, he still won't get his rocks off. It's just inherently a dicier proposition
Right,
for a
but if
woman than
men,
it is
but
for a
don't you
man.
think, if men knew that women enjoyed it, then they would have to
We do know that.
train,
We know
but
that
okay,
already.
but no, but I'm saying, like, don't you think that they would know they have to put more effort into how they perform and getting it right, and that mutual feedback and agreement?
which
You know what I
men?
mean? Because I think that,
I don't know to me.
You can't assume that goes with communication.
well, what
That
I mean is that if a man assumes that a woman is giving him something instead of taking it from him, I approach it like I'm taking something from him, not I'm giving myself up. But if you know that, then he won't just be comfortable giving her grade F peen. He
Oh,
will know that he has
yeah,
to
but
put
but 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 that's
in order to get
communication
a
that
second
involves in
run.
that to know that.
oh, you
Yeah, but
you
see
literally.
that speaks to what his intentions are. Go ahead, BMT.
So I mean, like I've heard songs way back in the 40s and 50s about the milkman and sneaking over to go see Mrs. Jones. So those things or these notions that women don't like sex. I mean, they have whole song. I think there's a song. I remember when people were making a big deal about WAP. There was a woman singing a way more provocative song about sucking and fucking back in the day. And hell, we had it called the Boom Boom Room. So we're not going to pretend like those places didn't exist
No,
out
but
and
I
about and
think
around. Now, when it comes to that of how it was accepted in society of the hypersexual behavior, if you're speaking of that notion, those were call outs of certain behaviors that were looked at and chastised upon. Okay, we don't think you're mature enough. If you made a decision and you cannot own that decision, then you have certain grades that would step in. Now, saying that about men and certain peen and stuff like that, they have drive through all these stories of people going out on dates, the amount of wherewithal that you would put into going to go, let's say, be taken out on a drive-through dinner and go do stuff. That's a type of courting or meeting the family versus that of sneaking out and doing your own thing. Now you're on an individual type of, hey, there's no guarantee of how this is going to turn out. You got to go before the church. Um, the points of what we're hearing, that's men need to understand this or women need to understand that that's taught at the home. And even if it's taught at the home, those are individual process things because you can raise a person to know right from wrong. Don't mean they're going to do it. You can raise a child in a Christian or religious background home. That don't mean they ain't going to be a slut or some kind of hanging fruit wherewithal. Like I think they got guys in college who ran trains on girls who the minute they broke away from the home became overly hypersexual and started teaching other girls the game. So these narratives of what we hear are they're like, hey, there's always going to be a one-up political levy in the system. What happened? Like, oh, she has kids, ain't nobody going to date her. When there's been plenty of step-in men, as they called, that oh well, she just had one or two kids, and another man just show up, don't even marry the woman or nothing, or have no name to the woman, but raise the kids. You have women that, as the mother had died during child rearing birth, she just started coming by, raising the child as her own, and then after that, she just, hey, you know, why don't we just make this work? These are like things that have been done before that of the '90s that were already happening. I think with people, we have these play down conversations that men don't know better. Black men have been playing stepdaddy for umpteen years in a in
Well,
a, in
no,
a,
no,
in
no.
a school.
Let's kind of bring the conversation back because I feel
It
like
was
you're
just
going.
I never took it away.
Yeah, well, that's not how I feel. I feel like you're taking the
Oh, you're
conversation in
feeling.
place. Okay, well, listen. I'm not here
Let
to
her
do this
finish,
with
then,
you.
T.
You kind of ruining the conversation. That's not what this was. So I will say this. Usually, the most hypersexualized and provocative woman is the most prudish, and it is the wives, it is the quiet
Mm-hmm.
women that are the ones that have the
Yep.
sexual appetites, which is why
Mm-hmm.
they try to find in-house dick or stabilize that situation. Now, as far as a woman's, as far as the myth or whatever that women don't enjoy sex as much as men, if men inherently knew and felt that women enjoyed sex as much as them, they would not do as much as they do to get it, i.e., put themselves under a woman in their quest for it. They would barter themselves and have more respect for themselves about their penis than just to give it out so indiscriminately, thinking that nobody wants it. So this is part of the advantage that women have, but it's not actual. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
but we have an inherent need to exhibit our hypervigilance for wanting sex. That's just the nature of men. I mean, whether
right,
you
because
enjoy
that's
it or
what you've
not,
been taught.
if men have an urge to want sex, being our masculinity allows us to overtly want to express that. That's not going to change.
But see, I would challenge that from the perspective of that's a social construct. I think that in nature, I think naturally and spiritually, it is more of a mutual respect type of thing. But these hierarchies that are created in society is actually responsible for the dissension between men and women and a lack of harmony
Exactly.
between men and
And
women.
That's
I gotta agree. I gotta agree with D. Darrell.
exactly.
I gotta
Ain't
agree with D.
nobody in charge
Darrell.
of my
A
shit.
black man will swim the seven seas for some coochie.
Ain't
Because
nobody
because
in
Yeah,
charge
that's
of my
because
because
he
that's
shit.
the
won't. He
position
gonna
you've been
want
put
it.
in.
He's going to want it. Like
Okay,
if,
listen, y'all don't listen. A green, y'all some squares. I can see that. Y'all don't
no,
want to
Squid.
nobody's.
It's
see.
a
I'm
squid.
just saying. I
It's
respect your opinion, but
No, I'm
I
just
mean,
right.
I
saying.
think you. I think you should take her at a word with what she's saying. But I mean, when she was just
Wow.
talking about the hierarchy, it's the hierarchy that's creating the dissension between men and women. That's exactly right. So, for example, this is what I was talking about patriarchy earlier. So, for example, one of the things that we hear in modern time and the modern era is men talking about, and they're saying it with a negative connotation, the hypergamous nature of women. But then it was men who created a social order and a social construct that made women have to be hypergamous when it came to their mating decisions. Because
But they did that because of competition amongst themselves.
right, because all
Because it's her
men don't.
choice.
I agree with that.
Well,
Because
yeah,
it's her
because all
choice.
men.
That's
Yeah, I
why.
know. Yeah, but that's because all men don't have the same sex appeal. It's like what I was mentioning earlier, how
Exactly.
women will categorize men. So in order to make it a more fair competition amongst men, so now the way that a formerly non-select guy can make himself more select is by now using hypergamy. So men created a social arrangement that put women in a subordinated position economically. So now women have to make their mating choices not based off of natural selection, the guy that they actually are attracted to, but the
Exactly.
guy who they're attracted to based off of what is the necessities and the needs that they have as women. But
And
see
who did
now
that?
in modern
White men and Asian men, because they lack sexual prowess. So they created capitalism and all these other standards of mating
Mm.
so that they
Huh?
can make themselves sexually viable options.
They've
Right.
always had those practices way back since the beginning.
Yeah.
They're
And
literally
now men are men are a lot of contemporary men, especially in Western culture. they're they're having a baby, a proverbial baby, because now that whole system is being inverted, because now women are finding themselves economically and in the marketplace. So now what's essentially happening is that you have women who are strong, air quotation strong, independent, and don't need a man for what their great grandmothers and grandmothers needed men for. And so now these women, they're providing for themselves, and they're still screwing the guy that they're actually attracted to. And so this is what is even created the dating coach industrial complex on social media. You see what I'm saying? So now you got to get game. Listen, you can't use the economics on these women no more. They're getting educated. They buying homes. They doing for themselves economically. So now the only way you're gonna get in the game to get to some is now you got to acquire these skills that women find what sexually attractive.
Game is basically embellishing upon who you really are. And
right.
That's
That's
true
all.
too.
that's really
Yeah,
what game
but see, that's like what she was saying earlier when she was talking about the mating ritual. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's
Right.
all really mating dynamics. But see, the thing is, like when you look at the passport bros and when you look at these incels, these are just men. Now, this is to Princella's point. These are just men who refuse to evolve and adapt with the society. And in nature, if you don't evolve and adapt, then you die off. So 100 years from now, many of these men who doing all this, talking all this shit about women and about the jawline dude and Pookie and Ray Ray, 100 years from now, there will be no genetic descendant of these men anywhere on the planet.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? While
that,
these same Pookies and Ray Rays, hold real quick, BMT, while these same Pookies and Ray Rays that they see themselves as superior options to will have little Pookie and Ray Ray still here running around kicking. You see what I'm saying? It's all about mating dynamics.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, but these are perceived concepts that only work in that of a first world, centralized community or government. Like outside of that, and I mean, let's keep it in the U.S. But I'm saying these narratives can only flourish in these type of environments. You take it anywhere else, they kind of die off rather, empathetically. The concept of only the survival of the fittest. This is why the society is right now on the brink of collapsing right now. You're not getting anybody joining the military. The markets of literally building structure, communities, businesses, all that shit is failing. I mean, if anything that they're talking about is hypersexuality, you're seeing weaker men, more erratic and mentally undisciplined women. I'm trying to figure out, other than that, what is the pluses right now? But I mean, to be fair, American society is about to collapse right now. It's only got at least about a good 20 to 50 more years left. So
I think that's
we're
a
trying to
doomsday.
figure out.
I think that's a doomsday thing, though. BMT.
No, but
I think it'll work out. I think it'll work itself out in the long run.
We're hoping it will work out. But if there is no incentive, to building that of but the fundamentals of society is what? Come on now, Mary. Even you spoke about this. What's the fundamentals of society? You got to have a family. And if there's no incentive to that of building a family, then shit. Okay, you do you, I'll do me. Cool, I got it. You got your degree. I'm gonna fuck you, but I'm not gonna have no type of relationship with you right now because what's the whole point? So I mean, if people are fine with just the fuck me, fuck you games, this is the get back of why we're hearing it now. We're hearing about LGBT men want to now have families and shit. Goddamn women right now saying that, hey, I could be mommy and daddy. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like these behaviors that the men don't even want to compete. But now the men don't want to compete because they're afraid to go out there and forge. The women are now trauma bonding with anything and everything that looks like it's a power that can get them in, which is normal because that's naturally how women are engineered to go towards power. These things are not going to last very long.
You sound like a man who's afraid of not being chosen.
I'm already married. Sorry.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can still reflect those sentiments.
How can I reflect those sentiments? What's that mean?
Because that's what your argument is. Because basically, what I hear you saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong,
Go
but
ahead.
what I hear you saying is making an argument against casual sex. And then saying that, well, if everybody can go and just have sex with whoever, whenever they want to, based on attraction, then what is the incentive? And what you're saying is, what is the viability of men who are not attractive?
Okay,
That's what I
so
hear you
I
saying.
think no. Let me say this real quick. I think,
but there's no incentive for men to be married. Like,
right.
but I think it's,
I agree.
I think it's this. I think what BMT is articulating, and I do agree with BMT along this line of thinking is where what he's talking about is he's talking about what happens when the modus operandi of men and women is casual sex. What you could potentially be faced with is a collapse of society.
But who would fear that most?
What you mean?
People without options for casual sex.
Well, I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I don't know because
you guys are implying an end to the result of casual sex being collapse and calamity. So who would fear that other than a person who does not have access?
But no, hold on, because this is the thing, though. This is the thing. Because you can casual sex. You can have casual sex under. A man can pay for casual sex if that's the thing. I think what BMT is saying is there is a very real consequentiality to casual sex. We see it for example, Virtuous Woman TV, where we are inundated with conversations about child support, baby mama drama, STDs, all of these social ills that arrive from what happens when the modus operandi of men and women in the society is casual sex. I just think it just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Actually, a lot of those things happen within polygynous relationships and conscious communities. They are the ones riddled with STDs and all those things going on. So I can make that argument. And for two, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And everybody should be engaging in things responsibly because there's calamity as a result of drinking alcohol. But people still do it.
Let's be honest.
Listen, you guys, I got to go back to work. I have to listen to the crowd.
I want to lay this out.
So sorry. I only got 1 minute left. So
I enjoyed you.
I'm gonna say this.
Okay,
I'll get with you next time you come on.
Okay. I enjoyed your talking points, young lady. I enjoyed it.
Nice to meet y'all.
You gotta be honest. When I hear about this thing about the ST rate and all this nonsense, let's be honest. Most niggas today, we gotta go there, are engaged in debauchery sex. Besides having multiple sex, is now they're doing all types of sex now. I'm not going into details because, as you know, I'm gonna keep it P13. But when I'm here for the last decade or so, I could see why certain rates high as they are. It's gonna come to a point people gonna be, especially black folks, everyone in the area, they're gonna start fucking animals.
They already been there. They're already there now.
Oh no, especially you'll see actually visuals now. And I saw very small snippets years ago, but it's gonna be more rampant now.
Where did now I gotta ask y'all brothers a question. Where did I attack casual sex in my conversation?
I understood what she was saying.
I'm just trying to figure out
I understood what she was saying. I understood what she was saying, BMT. But see, this is the problem, BMT. This is the problem. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, because I know that's not where you was coming from. That's why I know you coming from we coming from the family man tradition. But see, what happens is you have incels and men who can't get casual sex making the argument that we're making, but they're making it for different reasons. They're not making it from the reasons that we're making it. They're making it from the reasons because they know, man, I look like who did it and why. And I smell like cheese. Ain't no woman gonna ever want to get with me. You see what I'm saying? Like they're coming. You got a lot of dudes who are hijacking our arguments because they have that. They really have that as their ulterior motive for making it. It's not like they're not railing against casual sex because they're fundamentally against casual sex and for family. They're railing against casual sex because they're the ones who aren't having success with casual sex. And I think she sounds like she's probably in her 20s or 30s maybe, and so she's probably encountering that a lot. So I think that's why she interpreted it that way.
Well, I mean,
especially that dude. not for cutting you off right quick.
Go ahead.
Especially that video of that dude that got stood up on the date. I know everybody's seen that video,
Right.
and that's a prime example right there.
Like,
I hope the red pill don't get a hold of that young man.
like I mean, like the thing about it is we're talking about the fundamentals of competition, of building society, and like I mean, listen, I get it. You want the people want to talk about counter sex, and you shot that down very quickly and very easily when you say, hey, everything can be bartered with at some price. So I mean, if people want to casually have sex, I mean that's your choice. But then at some point, some people start looking at the market like, damn, they ain't shit out here. They ain't nothing worth a damn. Okay, so what's up? Like if you still have to worry about, damn, am I going to get an STD or STI from my one singular partner? You're in pretty bad shape. If you got to worry about XYZ of going out there dealing with unknown factors, hey. Have fun with the market. That's fine. But we're not going to pretend that jobs, associations, affiliated groups, the government, different progression of society does not look at that of stable family homes. We're not going to pretend like they do not look at that, that they don't take that into account. I never heard a business say, hey, what's the casual sex market like? I mean, unless you're in the sex industry, but we're actually talking about these things right here. Right now, we're looking at it like, okay, so you want to bring that up about, and mind you, I'm not touching on body count, but I believe that, hey, you get it out your system, you move on. All right, I'm willing to actually slow down and make something serious of this person. It's cool. We're adults here. But if you don't have that wherewithal of a mindset, you know what I'm saying? We understand women out here, they're dressed a certain type of way. Men out here, they're moving a certain type of way. But you have some people that say, you know what, I'm tired of playing games. I want to get serious. You have a lot. Let women start saying, you know what, I'm not going to fuck around. I got my shit together. If you want to talk to me, you got to be serious at some point to put that ring on me. We already know there's going to be a lot of men that are going to avoid that woman. That's a fact. We know a lot of men, once a woman starts saying, I'm looking to get married, there's going to be a certain group of men that are just going to avoid her. If a man says, hey, I'm out here looking for a wholesome woman that I can actually build a family with, he's not talking about subjugation and slavery. He's talking about, I want to actually build a family and something wholesome with. That's the fundamental of building a background of a micro community or micro society. That's not no subjugation of the weak and strong. Mind you, you have enough collective numbers, you actually become more stronger. That's actually what made us stronger when we had more collective numbers. The casual society, when you're seeing men and women get on, yeah, I caught chlamydia 2 times, but who gives a shit? Like, hold up, whoa, nigga. Like, wait, we're not jumping past that. What you just said. You got men that get on here. Nobody wants to pick me. Like, okay, dude. Like, look how you're acting. Look how you're talking. It's not a bad thing that people are exercising this stuff. Like, I would have felt more better with the Clarissa. The woman at the store that was getting punched by that man, Jeremy. I would have felt better if she had her husband there to step in. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, BMT, but this is one of the things I had to. This is what I had to realize is what you're articulating. It's unfortunately because of the era that we're in. It's just it's dated. It's an antiquated way to view the world. It's an antiquated way to view family formation. Like this is just the world we're in. Like I'm not real big on casual sex, and I'm gonna say this. It's not because I'm afraid I can't get it. I mean, look, let's just be real. It's easier to get. It's so easy to get pum pum right now. You could slip and fall and trip and get some. You know what I mean? It's not hard at all. I mean, what sisters have kind of, not even sisters, women have kind of made themselves overly sexually available, which speaks to why men are putting such a low premium on women in this day and age. You see what I'm saying? So there's gonna always be that trade-off. That's another consequence of casual sex. But the reason why I don't put a high premium on casual sex is because I just don't find it appealing to eat after a man. Like if we always at a table eating, I'm not trying to go eat off your damn plate. I want my own plate. You see what I'm saying? Because with my own plate,
Facts.
I can do what I want with it, and I can sift it like wheat. But if I know that we just doing something casually, and then you entertaining other dudes, I can't even give you my best work.
Mm.
Right.
Especially
Like,
using the same fork.
But I can't even give you my best work because you're already tainted. Like, you know what I mean? I can't. And I'm a tan of DMX. Them other niggas can eat off the plate, but not D. Like yamming on the residual semen of another man out of a woman's vagina just doesn't turn me on. That's why I'm not into casual sex.
Fuck no.
You know what I mean? I mean,
right.
like, come on. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wouldn't be into it.
As an argument that they feel as likewise for men who want to have 3, 4, 5 different women.
Right.
There's a counter argument to them with that, as far as you not being able to function in monogamy, because that's really what this boils down to. What we're really talking about is monogamy.
Right.
Right.
And the reality is that this is my issue with people who look at monogamy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people want a perfect situation, and without understanding, because we are imperfect people, most people are not going to commit to monogamy off the gate.
Right.
And even like someone who's married, I let people understand. Yes, even when you're married, there are people who are going to cheat. That is a realistic
expectation
that take place in a marriage, that somebody may cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't have. I think this is why I think things went wrong. The way people have not, and I blame this in music, entertainment, movies. They've glamorized in books, different romance novels. They glamorize marriage in a way that does not fit socially what it is in real life.
Correct.
So there are a lot of people that have a certain expectation based on what they see in programming. They thinking that it's supposed to develop or evolve like this over time, and it doesn't, because being married is not exciting.
Right.
It's not an everyday excitement of, whoa, I'm this great. Now you may be happy and love the person you with, but you're not going to be you're not going to be like what are we going to do today? What's this spontaneous out of nowhere experience I'm going to. That's not how in dating someone you're dating, you may get that short term. But if you think you're going to be married and having a thrill-seeking relationship every day, every week, no, that's marriage is a marathon.
Not
process.
Yeah. Now let me speak to that, D-Darrell, because this is the thing too, and even like what we were talking about with monogamy and sex, and I hear your Virtuous Woman TV, right? But this is the thing. And this is just goes to show you, and even if you look at the statistics on this, because there's this notion that people who are married or in long-term monogamous relationships are somehow sexually unfulfilled, as opposed to people who are doing the single, polyamorous, casual sex life, right? And nothing could be further from the truth. A lot of times, what you're really looking at is, number one, this is the commodification of sex. This is the reason why we constantly hear through corporate media, sex sells. So sex has become a commodity in the modern era. That's number one. Number two, pleasure has become a commodity in the modern era and through the corporate media, right? And so what happens is many of many of these people attribute to great sex, they're really getting off on the newness of the sex. So because this is a person you don't know, it's new, it's spontaneous, it's exciting, but that's because it's new. And this is why a lot of those situations don't really last that long, because after the newness wears off, then the greatness of it wears off. You see what I'm saying? So this idea that somehow polyamorous or single people are having better sexual experiences than people in long-term marriages and monogamous relationships it's bullshit. It's bullshit. What a lot of them are addicted to is the newness. This is why you see them. Like, so I'm a channel Tommy Soda man. This is why you see a lot of these modern women, they only care about dick and attention. Mm-hmm. This is why you see a lot of these men, they only care about pussy and attention. It's that, because that's all it's about. Because guess what? It's just like with dope. You're only as good as your next hit. So you're looking for that new high. So you're jumping from this person, you're jumping to that person. Ooh, this nigga over here got a jawline and he got a chip too. I ain't never had a nigga yam on my twat with a chip too. Maybe that'll give me a new kind of sensation. I'm gonna let this nigga hit tonight. You see what I'm saying? Or the dude. Well, hold up. This bitch got one of her legs longer than the other. I ain't never fucked a bitch with one leg was longer than the other. Maybe I can do a new position. Let me go ahead and try that. You see what I'm saying? And then what they do is they come and they want to try and dominate the conversation on sex and relationships, as if somehow people who are long-term married or in monogamous relationships are somehow having a less authentic or less fulfilling sexual experience than them, when really what these motherfuckers are addicted to is the newness.
I know that's
not
very
the sex
true.
That's all that great.
That's very true, Mary. Like, understand is like, I think because you're dealing with people that are running a household, and when you start peeling away that of the MTV or the BET goddamn unrealistic reality, we're telling you how the inner makings of how it works, or listening to when your spouse comes home and tells you about her friend, and man, that one nigga Brad, he ghosted her ass, and you know what I'm saying, now she on the phone for 6 hours talking about the nigga that she thought was the one or some shit. I'm like, man, hang up on her, man. But you ain't got time to hear this. She gonna just call you back later on tonight. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, if y'all don't know, listen, bro. I have part ownership of a hookah club. I see these men and women coming every other time. D. Darrell knows this shit, bro. Like, I done shown the work. Like, I'm there for these birthday parties. I'm there for these function events. Listen, it sounds fun. It sounds fun until all of a sudden, they can't. A bill pops up, or that cycle didn't come on. Wait, hold on. I thought you said you're gonna. Oh, so hold up, bro. Y'all doing the casual dance. Now you gotta understand this. See, it's different when you have people who are in the investment piece versus, nigga, I didn't put no investment in you. Who told you I wanted a family? And hell, you gotta wear. I've heard some women say, nigga, I didn't say I wanted to be with you. I just needed you to buy me this goddamn steak dinner. Like, hold up, bro. Nobody made you do that. And the nigga looking like Boo Boo the Fool. Man, this is why you can't trust women. But nigga, you still on her phone hitting her up, bro. What are you talking about? You choose to be the sacrificial lamb. And just like ladies know, okay, if he treats those two ladies like shit, what makes you think you ain't in the shit list? Like, these things are now the new reality. That's somehow is some kind of pussy to dick to Jesus concept that you can fix them or untraumatize these necromorphs of disasters that are happening. That's why you hear these men are like, I'm the prize. Functional people don't have to run around and keep telling outsiders that don't give a damn about you about I'm special. Look at me. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? No man that's literally happy in his home has to keep on making 99 videos about what happens if I come home and there's not a plate of food, or you know what I'm saying, she gives me some elbow macaroni. Like, I don't hear this shit in my circles. I don't hear women that have a good, wholesome home where the men have to protect me. I'm gonna tell you right now, a woman that has women that have fundamental men in their lives are not screaming about protection, because they're not going to risk their protection for the streets or anybody else. They're going, babe, what you doing? Well, that woman's in danger. I'm your woman, not that bitch. Fuck that bitch over there. I can't afford to lose you. Women will protect their assets, which is that man, and say, you stay with.
If I tried to protect
Listen, I'll tell you right now, and I don't know. I don't know the other brother's spouses, but I can pretty sure Mary's wife will say the same thing. If there was an issue going on, nigga, we in this truck right now. You safe with me. I'm the one that you protect. Women are very territorial about where their protection goes. Same thing like their children, same thing for the man. The man, the same thing. Hold up. Wait, did you feed the kids first?
That's why I was saying.
I got you, bro. No, but see that's the thing about it is our mental wherewithal of the conversations are not really welcome or cannot be standing in this space because it erupts that of the narrative that some people want to live in a hallucination of I don't have to ask about protection or ask about does my woman care about me. I get that at night
Or
or when
submission. You had to
or
ask your damn.
listen,
I've
nobody's
never
running
used that
around in
word
the
the way
home
you
begging for submission, bro. Nobody's begging. Like, are you going to submit, cook, and clean? Like, niggas, like, where these are like elementary baby conversations from Toys R Us that people are having. Y'all saying, well, it sounds like her. No, it's just wherewithal because when you've been and seen this shit so long enough and you try to explain it, after a while, the teacher's like, okay, you just dumb as fuck. You ain't gonna never get it. So I don't know why we still dealing with you. Send this motherfucker to detention because these conversations are literally they're just circular. We get it. There are people who like to get casual sex, swinging, all this other oxymoron shit going on. But we done seen the people who tried to do the poly relationship. Then all of a sudden the jealousy hit. Somebody ends up stepping out. Somebody says, fuck this. I had to get away from it. So we've already done explored that. We done seen the men and women that said, well, I can do everything by myself, and which is fine. I already said openly, and I contract home just like a Mary, and so does D. DeRoe do the work also. And just like the other brothers, we have more women that are moving into building a nest, a house, than we do the men. Now, when most men know that they have a family, they start moving more so towards that of a mindset of, I got a baby on the way. I got my woman. Maybe I need to go get a townhouse. Maybe I need to go get a home. I need to probably start building if they are worth their weight in salt. I need to start building for them. But if you're taking Dirty Dick Larry and you want to fuck with him, understand this. He's never planning on moving you out of your position. Why would he do that? Why would he move you in a higher position? Then you can push against that of his narrative. They're not going to do that, bro. They're never going to do that. If you've been a girlfriend for that nigga for 18 years, he never plans on marrying you. Hell, you've been a girlfriend for him.
I'm giving an example.
Let me stop, bro. Let me stop, bro. Because I'm telling y'all what I tell my nieces, man. Like, this is like.
There are people in a sector. I know this lady in a sector. She was with a dude for damn near 10 years, paid all the bills.
Fuck no.
Dude was on his ass. All he was giving her was dick and attention. And now she been on YouTube for the last 4 years complaining about that situation. And so I like to look at things from a case by case. I don't like the group all relationships this is why. I like to look at things case by case.
As a whole.
What I can say is this. Whatever relationship you get into, you are partially responsible for whether it succeeds or it doesn't succeed. And I see on both sides, no one wants to say, I was the reason the relationship didn't work. Everybody's quick to point the finger. Nobody wants to say, maybe I could have did this different. Maybe I could have been more, affectionate, more nurturing, more helpful, or whatever. All I hear about is a trade-off of, I have resources, she has femininity and submissiveness, it should work. But it's more to a relationship than that. That's just a couple of dynamics. Well, I would like to see, and I like a push for more discussion about the true dynamics of functional relationships.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like the reason why that type of content, I think, doesn't get the traction is because it's not about any of that. I think it's to what I was alluding to earlier, that a lot of these individuals are only on here insofar as they can increase their prospects for casual sex. Like, this stuff is just to ramp up the sexual tension. You see what I'm saying? It's not even about anything more than that. I think, and this is to what BMT was saying, I think that the modus operandi for many women and men, especially in the Black community in the modern era, is casual coitus. They don't need, like, that stuff that we're talking about is secondary. And then what also has a lot to do with it is just technology and how it's changing the way we live now more than ever in our modern time. It's that the prospect of living alone for individuals is more attractive than it's ever been. Not, once upon a time, as a person aged, you always had to have somebody with you because it's gonna come to a point in places like that life alert thing. I've fallen and I can't get up. But because of technology, because of innovation, because of social media and the how we're moving into a digital age now, the prospect of people being these free agents and just living their lives as individuals is more attractive to people than it's ever been. I don't even think they care about the functionality of relationships. It's not about any of that. It's just about running their mouth and talking, and guys putting on their masculinity props with the sunglasses and the cigars. And what they're doing is they're using these conversations, and they're using this gender war rhetoric to raise their own social profile to make them more attractive as casual options. I mean, look at Tommy Sotomayor. He talks about it all the time. You see what I'm saying? But if it wasn't for his status on social media, come on, who would be checking for Tommy like that? You know what I mean? Come on.
The ladies in the chat, are y'all checking for Tommy Sotomayor? Dirty dick time.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know what, man? He been fucking on them doing pornos with these same ladies he complained about. That's the crazy shit about it.
But see, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's like that time when he was talking about Six the Goddess. The only reason why he was talking about Six the Goddess is because he just wanted to get her attention.
Just like David Carroll. Yep. Just like David Carroll. Yeah. Shit on
that's
them.
That's the only reason why a lot of these people on here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They don't really care about, like, if you go into that type of content, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear this dumb shit they're hearing because it's just about ramping up the sexual tension. They don't have no, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna say it like this: being in a relationship ain't that complicated. You just treat the person the way you want to be treated. It's really just that simple.
Now go ahead.
You know what I mean?
Women saying no to Tommy, but go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Amir.
No, I'm just saying it's just that simple. You just treat the person the way you want to be treated. It ain't all that complicated.
But you know,
and you hold on. You know what, Amiri? I'm agree with you. Don't you, man? Since the internet came, it put a black eye in dating. Nobody want to go out no more. Everybody want to sit at home on the computer and socialize instead of going outside and socialize and trying to get a woman, you know, saying old fashioned way like it's supposed to be. People up in the house or in their basement socializing, being something they ain't. You know what I mean? It changed. The internet didn't change the game, to be honest with you.
But see, this is the thing. The internet also created more incels. It's the reason why a lot of these guys are awkward. And awkward because they don't value human socialization, and they are fixated on technology, video gaming, internet, computer, things that don't allow that don't necessarily reinforce interacting and communicating with other people.
Do you think that women also fall in that line of being incels now also?
Definitely. Man, I did a video a while back on I saw this white girl. I saw her, and I typed in female incels, right? I didn't think I was going to get much. And man, I had an array of women who sounded like the Manosphere. This chick, you know how the Manosphere talk about?
They do.
Let me tell you what they did. Like a lot of these guys will talk about black mothers and the women. I never forget, it was this white lady. She had to been no more than 21 years old. And she talked about how mad that she can't get a date. And when she talked about relationships, she talked about how she can't stand her dad. I mean, her and her dad were horrible, and they couldn't get along. He kicked her out the house. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. he was abusive. It sounded like a lot of the shit that the Manosphere would say towards black mothers. She said the exact same shit about her dad. Facts.
Well,
And to be honest with you, some of those incels that were women, they were not ugly women. They were average, some above that, but they just
were they socially awkward?
Yeah, they were awkward. They were into strange type things that most people couldn't relate to.
Like anime.
You know, their physical upkeep wasn't the best, and they enjoyed doing gaming. They enjoyed some of the same shit that don't.
You know what? Sorry for cutting you off. You know what? It ain't all about the extracurricular activities that they deem to be odd. It's what comes out their mouth. It's their conversation that what turns people off, you know, that turn people off. You know, it could be some you know, it's just the conversation. You know, you ever heard that old saying, she was fine, he was fine until he opened his mouth? Y'all heard that old saying, you know.
Right. True. Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but those are the dynamics. I think that, again, like when we're talking about, and I'm kind of pivoting back to Priscilla, this environment allows her to be as successful and to get her voice out. You know what I'm saying? The social media platform and the environment that we have encompassed upon allows a person like this to come out of nowhere, out of obscurity, and become hot on YouTube streets. And everybody talking about, everybody doing shows. She has an audience, which was built off of men, not women. And so now she's able to do what she's doing. The issue is, this is the issue. When these people try to apply what she does, what she says in real life, and they find out, that the shit don't work, that's where the problem comes about. When they find out the impracticality of her talking points, just like these fools in the Manosphere, finding out that this shit does not apply in real life, and you know, you got your tail between your legs and you mad at the world.
But it was never supposed to work, because let's be honest, it's a nice little money grab. You know, I don't knock the hustle. You know, people come with, some people gravitate and they come and display and implement in real life, and they get a real rude awakening at the end of the day. Like I said, the world is based on socialization. You gotta associate with people, socialize. Cass has been telling people this for a while, and I think what the internet does, it diminishes the social aspect of how people should be connecting, you know. And this was really been set forth for the last over 20 years. I remember I did an upload of a particular man I think he's in the field of mental health, or I'm not sure what he does, but he talks about the dangers of this digital age in regards to the advent of the social media, in regards to like the message chats, the, you know, communicating like text wise. You could tell by a lot of people's frustration and anger is really displayed through the internet by what they write, what they type, what's on their mind, you know. And that's what he revealed. But that was like, that was like almost 20 years ago, maybe over 20 years ago. And now we look at present day of the social media era for the last 22, 23 years. Look what it has created. It has created more unfortunate, awkward people that can't communicate outside the keyboard.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Kale. That's why I think like Princella, or whatever the hell that crazy broad is, and a lot of these old bag women that done been used up, and some of these weird ass niggas, I think a lot of them, they know that nobody holistically is gonna ever really want to take them home unless they're like the last call at a bar or some shit, and they're like, fuck, I ain't got nothing else. Come on, man, bring your ass just sit in the back, man. Like, it's one of those things, man. That's why you hear. Just think about it, Mary, but for real, bro. Think about it. Like, think of all these women that tell, stay away from the men, don't do that. No, nigga. I think it's you. Like, it's you, like, telling the weak-minded women, like, hey, like these men are this and that. Like, maybe that's just your problem, but you're trying to portray on the other people. Just like you got these weird, you know, dudes who be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. And then like the guy's like, okay, I went outside. I didn't see all this crazy shit. What are you talking about? So they'll easily keep on trying to recruit motherfuckers in them. Like, let's be for real. Like a Pearl Pearl was a socially awkward girl. Like even her friends outed her about that shit. So where did she go? She went to the socially awkward supermarket, this space, and started recruiting all the minions. Same thing, you got it with certain women that will go out there, seek out bitter and distraught and battle damaged, Negroes and people. You got it on all sides, an assortment. You just got to find the right type of dope to give them and say, hey, this is why you should fuck with me. This is why you should stop fucking with that. Like, don't worry about having a healthy, like, go to psychology, go get some help, or go do this, or go outside. They'll tell you things to separate you from a healthy mindset of, existing. You know what I'm saying? And so when you see that, when you have certain conversations, especially at this level, they get pushed against, because that would mean you have to do what? You have to go out and do the work. Yes, you have to go ahead and put forth certain effort. So when you're trying to wean somebody off of that type of mindset, like telling somebody, hey, like, you girls, be careful with that casual shit, because ain't y'all the same ones talking about, hey, like, men are kidnapping, beating, and killing women? Nah, fuck all that. I could do whatever I want. Oh, you know what? You got it, bitch. You got it. Good. You got it. Don't say nothing. Be quiet. Same thing for the men. Same thing for the same men that be complaining about, oh my God, like, we should be able to have sex with any women. Man, these women body count are out of control. Hold up, bitch. Like, you just said you want to have sex with all the women and don't care about the reality of what you're doing. Now you want to complain about body count? Like, nigga, you part of the issue. So these things that are happening, the same people, they want to do whatever they want, but they don't want no accountability of what they do. So it's don't
that behavior.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's crazy.
That occur. If you participate in these behaviors, and if the society is doing, there are going to be certain outcomes. There are going to be certain risks. That's just the reality of it. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and wind it down. It's definitely a stimulating conversation about this economy. We kind of pivoted and went other areas, which you kind of swallowed. Right? But I wanted to pose one other question. Now, what I'm seeing right now, because I don't know if y'all are aware, but somebody showed where I think Virtuous Woman TV did this. They showed a thing where Princella donated to Cynthia G's channel and was like, she donated like $50 and said, I'm looking forward to us collaborating in the future. What do you all think about that? And what could come out of that?
I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked at all. All she is just another Cynthia G clone. You know that movie? They cloned Tyrone. They cloned Cynthia G.
It's not even that. It's the misandry. It like what you see, like Cynthia G and Princella Clark benefiting from. They're just benefiting from the fact that social media is a black female dominated space, so they're gonna always get more traction than a brother. You know what I mean? So I mean it is, and that's why I say if women want to follow that, you go right ahead, because the course is set. So you go right ahead, boo boo. Ain't no swear off my back at all.
I hate to say this, I don't want to be cynical, but the Manosphere actually needs this for content.
Yeah, I already know. We already know. We already know. Listen, bro, they need a new supervillain. They need a new league of villains or some shit. So, you know what I'm saying? The white leader just died or just left off from them. So they lost Tate, they lost Kevin, they lost the lead attorney. Dennis don't know if he coming or going. Like, shit, you can't keep no fatherly figure in this bitch. So you lost what's that girl, Jessica X? I don't know what fatherly, motherly figure y'all need these days. The white girl, good mother. So we're on chapter 48. Now y'all buying strippers and shit to hopefully they'll step up and start teaching y'all red pill philosophy. Fucking goddamn, what's that light skinned nigga? Donovan, he's getting married to that trailer trash bitch. So honestly, I guess this might be the best thing.
Don't forget them transgenders. Don't forget the transgenders coming in the Manosphere.
My bad. So So
The
now,
Hispanic, that's the Hispanic transgender woman.
yeah,
What's
you
his name?
know what? Honestly, that person was giving Steve. I was what that person was giving Steve all kind of. I was like, you know what? I'm not surprised. And in this the hype and like this Looney Tune world, you
Yeah, but
gotta
she
have
that transgender woman is all over the place in the space. She everywhere.
that a woman or a man. What is it? What is it?
It's a transgender woman. It's a man that transitions. You know, I'm just trying to be as politically correct.
It's a
You
woman
know
with an
what?
extra part.
And you know what? I bet you. Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing that's crazy about it. If that motherfucker were to say men ain't shit, they're dangerous. A lot of these ain't shit hurt women will run over there and praise that motherfucker like it's God until it starts talking and bashing black women.
But
And
that's what
then
that transgender woman did to Umar
oh,
on the
yeah,
on
so we're gonna
Smart
win.
Soul. That transgender woman that Umar gave a compliment to talked ill about black men being a former man herself. That's what that person did.
This place is like pussy. It's too easy sometimes, bro. It just get too easy, man. Like motherfuckers just know how to get to this place, man. Hit this place
Right.
for a lick. Same thing. That same thing. Transformer. Where to talk about black women, the niggas would be right over there, praising and licking that motherfucker's feet. Like that's what I'm saying, man. You gotta like
It
detox
wouldn't
from this dumb
surprise
shit.
me now one bit.
You got it.
Right.
It would it,
Next
bro.
time, Queen. I seen you came back.
Yeah, I had a little something to do, but I melanated vessel says, but let's not deny that it's a response to the misogyny.
Yes, I
Misogyny
agree with that.
equals misandry. I agree with that as well
I
because
agree with that.
even
I
though
think it's an overreaction. It's not merely a response.
I agree, but what I'm saying is whether it's an overreaction or not, and whether misogyny came first, it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? What really matters is that one can't feed the other. We've got to both recognize what we need to do on both ends, because when we lay too much of the burden on one lap, it doesn't work. But many hands make light work when everybody recognizes their role and lives in that role.
Right.
All right.
I
So
agree.
we still taking closing remarks, Deidre, or you want to run this?
Yeah. Go ahead. You can go ahead and give your closing remark.
Well, you gotta understand, it's beyond clout chasing. It's to really be the head ish bitch in charge, and to accomplish this, you're gonna have to start taking down some women that are the heaviest misandrous. That's what they call it now.
Misandry.
So if she's doing that now, and I'm not saying Cynthia G is smart, dumb. I don't know what her state of affairs is mentally at 39 years old, but
She's
she
not.
got.
We can take that from me. She's not.
It's evident now that if she want to be used by other content creators, let her be. She gonna learn the hard way again, because like Princella, she didn't really give a crap about women. Let's get real. She says that, but she doesn't, because she already clout chased with all the men. So going to another content creator that has over 100K subscribers, all you do if you able to get in line or come on her channel, it's only going to add more to your audience base and flood it more. And the last thing a lot of women want to deal with is competition. Much times women don't want to hear this. They don't want that. And Cynthia, if she's smart, which we'll see, she's not going to entertain that, because it will be a disadvantage to her, because she already see what content she does and look at her content and say, well, damn, this bitch already got a book. I still haven't wrote my book yet. So
well, get to it.
And let me say something more on that. Let me say, like, this whole thing about, like, and that's why I haven't been too keen on writing a book, because it doesn't even mean anything now. Like, you can be a total idiot and write a book. You know what I mean? Like, being a published author doesn't even mean anything. It's kind of, that's just how easy it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it, even like with this Princella Clark thing, a part of me does resent it. You know what I mean? And that's why when, this stuff plays out, I'm gonna be very unforgiving when it comes to niggas, both the men and the women. I know me, I'm very good at trolling and throwing stuff in people's face. You know what I mean? You want to follow dumb shit when it's time for the consequences of that. And, meanwhile, while I'm gonna be balling out with my little real estate adventures and stuff, It's going to kind of be what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Dante?
So like I said, Deidre, that's the game plan. She's very calculated. She's not a dumb woman. The woman you do present today, she's really pacing herself and just checking off the hit list. Because even look at when she's on Fresh and Fit, she said that she calculated what she's about to do going on to that broadcast. You know what I'm saying? And it went well for her. So she's strategizing how she want to play this social media thing now, moving forward. And YouTube
Right.
is the great avenue. So one thing she knows, she's going to align herself with women that are considered misandrous like her, and she's going to take the audience and grow in her own platform. And she's going to try to be that head top. That's her end game. And it's going to probably she's going to accomplish this very well because working very well up to this point. Hell, look at the dumb dudes that had her on. They just want to have her on because say, oh, I got no my Sebastian, and don't understand that she's using you. You know what I'm saying? She come here just to grow a different avenue and get an audience of hurt women that have not done the shadow work. Instead of men need to do shadow work, yes, but these ladies got to do just as much shadow work as well. And through the evidence, through the comment sections, the interaction, even the talking points, you could tell right there from the talking points they don't have a thought of their own.
Right. All right.
Think about this. The book she wrote, you should always ask this. Write something that is of your own understanding and thought. I don't want to hear the reference from other men, especially non-black men. What is on your mind from your experience? That will go much longer than just tell me what other white people write, especially white males write.
Right.
But that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Dante.
Damn, I ain't got too much to say, but I appreciate the panel. You know what I'm saying? Hey, is another fire live you had, D Darrell. I hope you do another one. And Miri, I know you've been busy, but brother, I'll be missing you on your lives, man. What's up with Miri?
Miri got to make money, man. You got money to make.
Amir's a busy man, man.
Yeah, trying to make money, trying to make movies and make money, man. But I'm gonna come on here sparingly, but like it's just like what I was just saying. I'm not in the business of forcing people to listen to reason and common sense and experience. You know what I mean? If you want to listen to people who clearly deranged and that's who you want to follow, so you want to listen to a loud mouth bandit, bald mouth bandit who's screaming at the top of his lungs every hour on an hour, you go right ahead. If you want to listen to this, if I was a boy looking motherfucker, the queer maker, the queen maker, if that's what you want to follow, you go right ahead. I don't care.
Hey man, you
go right ahead, man.
You making boss moves, man. You gotta keep making boss moves, make your money. That's what I'm doing. I'm lucky to even be doing live streams the way I am now right now. But hey, you gotta do what pays. So
right, exactly.
All right, Samba Queen.
Oh, I just wanted to say thanks for having me up here. This is like maybe the second time I've been up since you've been having more of these conversations.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah, I appreciate that. It's like anytime you hear Manosphere, it's like, oh, it's all these man-hating, these women-hating men.
Right.
I've been listening to more of what's considered the Manosphere and just really listening and hearing where they're coming from and kind of taking a look within. And it's not to say that the more extreme ones are just like really out there. There's some stuff that they come up with. I'm like, whoa. But there are some that are more moderate. They have some points. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Because oftentimes the media, social media, advertising, magazines, it kind of speaks to us as women, be empowered and do this and do that. And I don't know, sometimes I don't think we kind of see where you guys are coming from. I would never say that abuse of any kind should be supported or allowed. Absolutely not. And I'm not talking about in cases of abuse. I'm just talking about just simple dynamics between men and women and black men and black women in particular. There's a disconnect. And I feel like the media is feeding that. Like they don't really want us to get each other from what I can see. Showing the extreme sides of, like a Cynthia G. And then you've got people on the extreme opposite of her. This is not really where the middle lies. This is not really where people lie in their everyday lives. And I don't think enough of that is really brought to the forefront.
Right, I agree. They're not really showing what the more consistent occurrences of relationships and us as a people, what it really looks like per se. You know, it's too polarizing on both ends.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Okay. Well, guys, I'm out.